Hello, good morning, guys. Welcome to my video and welcome to our English class today. My name is Teacher Kwame, because I'm from Ghana in West Africa. And I am an English teacher, online English teacher. I have been teaching English for the past 6 years. And I basically teach grammar, speaking, pronunciation, everything. So basically general English and business English. And I also prepare students to sit for the IELTS. What are we looking at today? Today we're going to look at how to use do, don't, does, and doesn't. Okay? Do, don't, does, and doesn't. Okay, we're going to look at how we will use do, don't, does, and doesn't. These helping verbs or auxiliary verbs are very, very important in English. Okay? When do we use do? When do we use don't? When do we use does? When do we use doesn't? Okay? So we'll look at that. So let's see. The first one we're going to do is look at this word, do. Okay? Do. Write it here. Yeah. Okay, let's clean this one. Do. Okay? When do we use do? Now, we use do, number one, for activity verbs. Okay? Activity verbs. Now, we use do for activity verbs. What are activity verbs? Activity verbs are any type of verb that involves action. Huh? Any verb that involves actions. I will explain. Let me just make it a little bigger, right? So you can see. So let's go 20. All right. Any verb that involves actions. What do we mean by actions? For example, now I am teaching you English. I am teaching you English. So I'm speaking. Speak. So action verbs. So action verbs or activity verbs. One, speak. Okay. I teach you English, so I am speaking. When I started the video, I said, my name is Teacher Kwame. I am speaking. In Portuguese, we say falar. In French, we say parler. So you speak. It's an activity verb. Why? Because I have to do an action. I have to open my mouth. I have to open my mouth. Okay? Now, let's look at another verb like see. Okay? I wanted to write take, but let's write see. See, I see with my eyes. Now you can see me with your eyes. It's an activity verb. Okay? You can see me with your eyes is an activity verb. Right? Now, let's look at another verb. Okay? Let's look at another verb. Work. Work. In Portuguese, we say trabalho. In French, we say trabalho. So you work. For example, I work as a teacher. I teach English. That is my work. You may be a lawyer. Portuguese, we say advogado. Or in French, we say avocat. Okay? You may be a lawyer. I am English teacher. I teach. Okay? So, work. Now, let's see. For example, here, let's come here. So, I speak English. Okay? Let's try to make phrases with this. I speak English is the same as I do speak English. Hmm? I speak English is the same as I do speak English. They are the same. Hmm? They are the same. I speak English is the same as I do speak English. Right? So now I speak English. You may speak Portuguese or you may speak French. Okay? But I speak English. Okay? I speak English. Now, it's the same as I do speak English. Now, I see Kwame. I see teacher Kwame. Okay? I see teacher Kwame. I see teacher Kwame. Remember, I said it's the same as, okay, you can help me? So we're doing the class together, okay? Not just me. We're doing the class together with me and you. So if I say, I see Kwame, what is another way to say, I see Kwame? If I say, I see Kwame, you say, so you say, I do see Kwame. I do see Kwame. If I say, I work at Walmart. Okay, I work at Walmart. Okay, I work at Walmart, or let me use a very familiar word. I work at the bank. Okay, because you save your money at the bank, guys. You save your money. If you have a lot of money, then you can save at the bank. If you don't, well, you choose. So I work at the bank. So what is another way to say this? I work at the bank. You say, help me. So you can also say, I do work at the bank. I do work at the bank. Okay, I do work at the bank. Now, these are used for positive phrases. So, do is for positive phrases. Positive phrases. Now, what do you think we will use for negative phrases? Okay, so we say, what do we use? What do you think we will use for negative phrases? Okay, what will we use for negative phrases? If we use do for positive phrase, what do we use or what will we use for negative phrases? Can you guess? It's not that hard. Can you guess? Okay, so I do work at the bank. I do work at the bank. How would you say it in the negative? I do work at the bank. How would you say it in the negative? Okay, so the word that we use for the negative phrase or phrases is don't. 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 Can we try the pronunciation? Don't. Don't. Don't is a contraction. The full word is do not. Do not. Okay, so I don't work at the bank. So positive. I work at the bank. At the bank. Negative. I don't work at the bank. So positive, I work at the bank. Negative, I don't work at the bank. So I work at the bank. Negative, I don't work at the bank. Good. Let's go with does. So number 2, does. Let's do this, does. Does. Now, in which way do we use does? We use does with the pronoun he, she, it. In Portuguese, ele, ela, isto. In French, il, ela, and il. Okay? So, let's see. So we use it with he, she, and it. Okay, so he, when do we use he? A man. Portuguese homem. So we use he for a man. Okay, we use she for a woman, a female, a woman. Okay, menina, Portuguese, French, femme. Okay, now we use this. So, for example, if you want to say Kwame works at the bank. My name is Kwame. So Kwame works at the bank. Another way to say this is, can you guess? What's another way to say Kwame works at the bank? Come on, you can do this. So Kwame works at the bank. Another way to say this is he does work at the bank. Remember, here, the first one says he works at the bank. But here, you can see he works at the bank. Why? Because when you use does, when you use this, the verb will be in the infinitive. The verb does not change. It remains in the infinitive. Okay, so that's why we write he works at the bank. Okay, infinitivo or infinitive. Okay, it stays where it is. It stays at the original. So he does work at the bank. Okay, so for example, you can tell me a name of a woman, any woman you know. Okay, any woman you know. Okay, I'll give you an example. Let's say Beatrice. Okay, Beatrice speaks Portuguese. Or let's say if you're French, Beatrice speaks French. Speaks French. Beatrice speaks French. Now, Beatrice speaks Portuguese if you're from Brazil or Cape Verde or Mozambique or Angola, you speak Portuguese. If you're from Cote d'Ivoire, because I'm from Ghana in Africa, so that's why I'm mentioning the countries in Africa who speak French. Cote d'Ivoire, Mali, Senegal, Mauritania, Morocco or Maroc. Or if you're from France or Belgium or any other place, or Switzerland, you speak French. Okay, so Beatrice speaks French. So here it becomes, guess it, what's another way to say this? She does speak Portuguese. She does speak Portuguese. So, which other way should we say this as well? What about this? Okay, can you guess? Well, you guessed it right. So she does speak French. And remember, I told you that when you use does, the verb stays in the infinitive. So you don't say he does speaks. Okay? He does speaks. This is not correct. Remember, this is not correct. Guys, this is not correct. Okay? So it becomes he does speak French. All right. Now, remember that I said do we use for activity verbs. Okay, so I, you, we, they, do. Okay, I, you, we, they, do. I do, you do, we do. Okay, they do. Okay, now he does. Okay, the conjugations, conjugation. Okay, or conjugation. Okay, conjugation. So conjugation. So I do, we do. Okay, they do. They use do. Okay, now he, she, it, we use does. Okay, the negative, what do you think will be the negative for she does speak Portuguese? She does speak Portuguese. What do you think will be the negative for she does speak Portuguese? All right? Can you help me? Because remember, we're doing the class together. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. Okay? Don't be shy. Hey, consider me your friend. Okay, I'm here to help you. Consider me your friend. So what would be the negative for she does speak English? She doesn't speak Portuguese. Okay, she doesn't speak Portuguese. Good, you guessed it. She doesn't speak Portuguese. And what about this one? What about this one? What will it be? The first one was she doesn't speak Portuguese. What will be the negative for she does speak French? Huh? Don't be shy. It's an English class, not a deaf sentence. Okay? So it becomes she doesn't speak French. Okay? She doesn't speak French. She doesn't speak French. She doesn't speak Portuguese. Nada. Okay? Nada. No Portuguese, no French. Okay? If it's I or eu or je, I speak English. I don't speak English. I don't speak English. Now, you speak English. You don't speak English. Because the conjugations, these are the conjugations. Conjugations, verb to be. The verb to be. Conjugations for the verb to be. In French, we say conjugation. Conjugation. In Portuguese, we say conjugation. Okay, so verb to be, I, you, he, she, it, we, and they. Okay, so here, let's repeat. I, say after me, I, you, he, she, it, we, they. Again, I, you, he, she, it, we, they. Good. So, for example, if we choose the verb speak, okay, so it becomes I speak, positive, negative, I don't speak. Okay. You speak. Negative, you don't speak. Portuguese, fala. Now fala. In French, c'est ne parle. Je ne parle. Je ne parle or il ne parle. Okay? You don't speak French. I don't speak English. Okay? You don't speak. Now, let's see the change. So, he speaks. Remember, he, she, it with the verb speaks. Okay? So, he speaks. So, what will it be in the negative? He doesn't speak. Okay, now we're doing the conjugations. He doesn't speak. So now let's go to she. Remember, I don't. You don't. He speaks. She speaks too. She speaks too. She speaks too. She doesn't speak. She doesn't speak. Now, let's come to this part. It. Okay, can you pronounce it with me? It. Now, it we use for things. 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 In Portuguese, we say coisa or coisa. Coisa. In French, we say chose. Shoes. These are things. Okay, this is my headphone. This is my headphone. This is my headphone. It's a thing. Okay, a thing. Okay, it's a thing. It's not a person. It's not a human being. It's a thing. So we don't use it. It speak. Okay, because animals don't speak. It's an animal. An animal like dog. Portuguese, cachorro. French, français, chien. Le chien. Portuguese, cachorro. French or français, le chien. Okay, the animal does not speak French. You only do pop, pop, pop. Okay, so we don't use it. We don't use these verbs for it. But we use for we. We. Portuguese, nós. Nós, French, nous. We speak. Negative, we don't speak. Positive, we speak. We speak French. Me, you, we, together. Ensemble. We speak French. We speak French. We speak French. Me and you, we speak French. Okay? Now, the last part of our class, they speak. So we speak French, negative, we don't speak. We don't speak. Now, let's go to the last part. They. They. Portuguese, eles. French, elle. They. Or il. Elle for female, il for male or man. Okay, so they speak. They speak. Negative, they don't speak. Positive, they speak. Negative, they don't speak. Okay, all right. So guys, this is the end of our class for today. So today, what did we learn? We learned when to use do, don't, does, and doesn't. Now we use do for do, does, and doesn't. All of them we use for activity verbs. And I said activity verbs, they mean action. Action, action, actions. I speak, for example, it's an action. Now I'm speaking. Speak, action. Now you see me with your eyes. It's an action. See. Hmm? See is an action. So we use it for see. So for example, I see teacher Kwame. Hmm? Is the same as I do see teacher Kwame. I speak English. Is the same as I don't speak English. When do we use does and doesn't? We use does and doesn't. We use does, first of all, for he, she, it. Hmm? Ele, Portuguese, ele, ela, isto. Hmm? Ele, ela, isto. In French, elle, il. Okay? So we use he, does, and doesn't for he, she, it. So Kwame works at the bank. Kwame, me, my name, meu nome. Hmm? Hmm? Mon nom. Hmm? C'est Kwame. My name is Kwame. So I work at the bank. So Kwame works at the bank. Okay? Kwame works at the bank. Kwame does work at the bank. That's another way to say this. Kwame does work at the bank. What would be in the negative? How would we say it in the negative? Kwame doesn't work at the bank. Okay, then you do the conjugations. I, you, he, she, it, we, and they. So guys, thank you for joining me in my class. I'll see you in another class where I'm going to teach you how to ask questions with do, does, doesn't, and don't. Bye-bye.